Sup nerds, are you the boldest? I just never know how to start videos anymore. If you've watched our channel for a while, you probably know that we don't give you like a full overview of the game or a rules explanation or anything like that. We mostly just give you our thoughts. However, I feel like a bit more detailed explanation of this game is probably necessary for you to understand my thoughts about it. This game is a simultaneous selection game in the vein of Not Alone, Eggs and Empires, Can't Be Creatures. So we have all these cards that will trigger in different ways, or more like in different orders with the succession of the other cards. So we all pick those at the same time, place them face down. Once we're all ready, we all reveal, and they'll all, again, kind of resolve in a different order. What we're trying to do is get all of these cards from this grid here, these square cards, and they all have different colors and different points on them. Like this one's worth 6 points, 7 points, 10 points, 1 point. And the cards that you have in your hand, you play them, they will gather these cards from the table in a different way. Like a sword will get a orange and a blue card, but only the bottom, from the bottom of every column, right? And not on the bottom row, the lowest card from each column. The, wrench cards will get purple and blue cards, but again, from the bottom of every single column, from the lowest one. And then the hunter cards, that crossbow one, looks at the entire column and can take one of each color, provided that they have those little crosshairs on them, so that you look out, and if you see, okay, well, there's a purple crosshairs and a blue crosshairs, and then an orange crosshairs. That's exactly what you want. That's the best thing that you can get from that card. But not just playing one of those cards really will do. It's whoever plays the most of that card goes. So they resolve in top-down order on the back of this sheet here, and they go from most to least. However, in addition to that, you're also playing 3 little stacks. You're splitting these cards up in, this is what I want for stack 1 to win. So like I'm putting in stack 1, I want to win this specific type. So I want to win the swords, or I want to win the wrenches. So I have to put a lot of wrenches or a lot of swords. And there's some wilds and stuff you can do. And some of the cards have special abilities on them that you can acquire from the bottom of the board here. But that notwithstanding, you're saying I want to win this in the first round, win this in the second round, and win this in the third round. And the biggest problem that I have with this game, I think maybe that, there's a lot of reasons why, at the end I'm kind of like, oh man, I don't think I was really all that happy with the way this turned out. But a big part of it is because in Not Alone, Can't Be Creatures, Eggs and Empires, those types of games, you're only selecting one card and you're just doing it one at a time. Oh, I picked this. Oh, I had the wrong bad thing. Uh-oh. And if that bad thing is really bad and really screws up your plans, that can kind of hurt. But the lighter the game is, the less you kind of worry about, oh, I picked the wrong thing. Man, so many things went wrong because of this one little mistake. Or this one happenstance that you happen to pick the same thing that I did, and you're, I ruined so much of the game. And in here, it's hard to not feel that way. But there's just so much randomness with the way these cards come out, and with the way, especially when you have a lot of players. I think I played with 5 people. When I'm putting cards down in the third stack, am I really gonna know even what cards are available at that time? And am I going to know what everybody else has played at that point, such that by the time it comes to round 3, I feel confident in winning this thing? Maybe if you played the game a bunch with a lot of other people who know the game, you can play those sort of mind gamey things. But Not Alone felt like so much of it was a mind game, and you really, really had to know your opponents. Can't Be Creatures feels that way a little bit too. And here, it really felt like more of a guessing game than an educated guessing game. Because again, these cards come out randomly, and the availability changes so much and in such a weird way, because it's the bottom of every column. So if you take this, well, now the only thing that's available is this 10. Well, I can't get this 10 unless I have this little chainsaw symbol, which is one thing I didn't say, that a lot of the blues are really, really low. They're worth 1 point, but they're like artifacts or something. They have little symbols on them that you can spend to get the really, really high point cards. So the 10s and the 8s and stuff usually have that little symbol on them that says, hey, you can only take this really high card if you ditch that really, really low card, which you'll do, right? It's totally worth it. But if you get all these 1s and you never did something for the higher card, that's such a huge difference. Even 10, 8, and 10, 9, and 8, but like there's 7s here that don't have that symbol. I take a 1 and you take a 7. That's such a big difference. And it doesn't feel to me all that much that like strategy was a big part of it. It felt more like randomness was a big part of it. And choosing the cards was a bit more of a guessing game. And also, okay, you really, really want to win. You see a card right there. Let's say you're going to go first and okay, I know that I really, really want this card. And the very first thing I'm going to pick is, boom, I'm going all in. I'm putting all of my this card. Because you have multiple of each faction, and that's how you stack to know that you're going to win. On the next round, though, you don't get those cards. When you're successful, you don't get to use any of the cards that you used in the thing. I feel like this game was an attempt to take the everybody selects picks a card, what do you call it? Simultaneous selection, where everybody picks a card at the same time and flip it up, and add a lot of strategy to it, add a lot of depth, add a lot of options, and granted, I think a big part of it, too, is that these games don't exist in a vacuum, right? Because I keep comparing it to Campy Creatures and Not Alone and those other games, that the people I was playing with actually really liked it. I was kind of grumbling a little bit, like, towards the end of the game. I was like, oh, I'm realizing the way the game works out, and I'm not liking it so much. And they're all saying, really, what's wrong with it? I'm liking it. It's enjoying it. Yeah, it's wacky and it's silly. And maybe if you think about it that way, you'll have a better time. It's just wacky, light, and fun and silly. However, again, not being able to exist in a vacuum, Campy Creatures is really wacky, light, and silly. And it's the same type of thing, So it's hard for me to say that I really would want to sit down and play this again when I know that Campy Creatures exists. Or Stronghold also has that game, Not Alone. But I still just found it a lot more random than I wanted it to be in a game of this size and this time and everything. And, production quality is okay. The art and graphic design is all right. Not my favorite, but post-apocalyptic, pretty cool. It's really just, I think there are games that do this thing better to the extent where I don't really feel the necessity to play this game again. But even though I just said I didn't really like the game, buy it. Description box down below. Subscribe, you'll never be bored. Boom. So I heard you were looking for the Boldest. Oh, well, it's right here. What?